Hi, my name is Ryan Silbernagel. I am with Sundt Davila Construction, and I am the project manager for the San Pedro Creeks Improvement Project. We have been the construction manager for Sarah for the last 5 years on the project since 2017, and we're here today to talk to you about the construction side of the project. So for Sundt Davila, participating in San Pedro Creek fits well with our purpose statement. And our purpose statement at Sundt Construction is to build environments where our clients, employee owners, and communities prosper. And San Pedro Creek, at its core, is ultimately a flood control project that provides a function to the community by removing a lot of area out of the 100-year floodplain. But more than that, it's building an amenity for San Antonio in general for people to come in and enjoy and reconnect with nature. And so it's a great honor for Sundt Davila to be a part of this project. So at its core, San Pedro Creek is a flood control project, and the way we're achieving the flood control benefits of the project, we're either having to widen the channel or deepen the channel or both. And some of the biggest challenges for the project have been through the stretch of Houston to Nueva Street, where we have a lot of adjacent buildings that we've had to go in and help underpin to create that deeper channel to help contain the water in a rain event so it doesn't spill over the banks. But more than just the flood control project is we've been able to beautify and bring in the culture and the art through public art opportunities and the murals that you've seen through phase 1 and the currently open phase of the project. That'll continue on through phase 1-2 and further south. So phase 1-1 opened up in May of 2018, and since that time we've been working on phases further south. So currently in construction we have phase 1.2. That phase goes from Houston Street down to Nueva Street. We're also working on phase 1.3, which is behind us now, from Nueva Street down to Cesar Chavez. Also in construction, phase 2, that starts at Guadalupe and it runs down to Alamo Street, and we just started phase 3, which runs from Alamo Street down to the confluence between Alazan and San Pedro Creek. Currently we're anticipating opening phase 1, which includes phase 1.2 and phase 1.3 this fall, and with a grand opening tentatively scheduled around the October timeframe. Phase 2 will open a few months after that, and we anticipate by February 23 that phase 2 will also be open. So as you might expect, when you're building a project of this magnitude and scope in the downtown area, there's going to be multiple stakeholders that are going to be affected, and from businesses to public agencies to adjacent construction projects. And so coordination has been key from the very beginning when we start developing the plans to do stakeholder outreach, make sure that we minimize or try to mitigate any impacts to the stakeholders wherever possible. We've had multiple construction projects going on adjacent to the creek. Even this back phase 1-1, we were working hand in hand with the contractor that built the Frost Tower. As we moved down to phase 1-2, the contractor that was building the new TPR headquarters, we coordinated closely with them. As we continue on, the contractor building the new school for UTSA and also the new federal courthouse, we had to work closely with them to make sure that our projects work smoothly and together. And sometimes we had to collaborate even our project limits as far as landscaping scope, as they potentially would be overlapping. So working downtown San Antonio, there's a lot of history that's involved. And anytime that we disturb the ground, we have a full-time archaeologist monitor our excavations. And throughout the course of the project, we found significant items and features. Phase 1-1, there was a cannonball that was found. They dated that to about 1830. That was a really cool find that we had up near the inlet. Moving down south, one of the more significant finds for the whole project is uncovering the original soapwork and AME foundations in the Houston block. And currently we've been working with Army Corps of Engineers, Texas Historical Commission, and Office of Historic Preservation, as well as community members and stakeholders to make sure that we really honor that space and incorporate it into the design. And we're getting close to having that full concept put together and moving forward with the construction in that area. So San Pedro Creek has been a great experience for me personally. This project encapsulates just about any scope within our construction industry as far as heavy civil earthwork and utility work, from concrete, spread footing walls, drilled shafts, all the way to the finishes with tile and the art murals that have been installed. And so it's been a great experience to have all of these scopes involved in one project. Some of the challenges that we faced on the San Pedro Creek project is, you can imagine we're developing a flood control project, and so we're working down in a channel, we're having to do excavations, and water is always a concern. And we can typically keep the work site dry you're using the tunnel system that was built several decades ago by the Corps, where it takes the water up at the inlet structure up by the beginning of phase 1-1 and takes that down to the outlet structure down by Guadalupe. So in a normal situation, the creek channel stays relatively dry. Where we run into challenges is when we have a rain event, all the water from the surface streets runs into San Pedro Creek, and so we've had to utilize relatively complex pumping systems and bypass pipes to help us keep the creek dry so we can build it. One of the other things that is not going to be seen by the end user when we're complete is the amount of utilities that we've had to go underground with. So prior to construction, most of the utilities were actually mounted to the bottom of the bridges. And so what we had to do, and what is one of the things that took us the longest through the street alignments, is actually taking all that infrastructure, whether there's an electric or a gas line or fiber, and actually taking those underneath the creek alignment and then building back up from there. And so some of our excavations on that have been upwards of 30 feet deep. And that has probably been one of the most challenging things on the project from the construction standpoint.
You can view this video and other virtual series on our Facebook page or our website at spcculturepark.com. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.